What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Armando Effect. I have Isa here today. Welcome, Isa.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome to the show. We've been trying to plan this for a little bit now, but
For a very long time.
we're all busy moving around. Today she's supposed to be here, but she didn't get here early.
Listen, time management isn't my thing.
No, listen. This is a busy routine in life. In fact, today we're filming two back to back just for this reason because we're always moving around,
Yeah.
and all that. So Isa's been an agent. We were talking about that not long ago with Avenew since when?
About a year ago. It's been less than a year.
You've been a realtor for how long?
Like 2.5.
Like 2.5, but like
Yeah.
full time.
Full time, about a year.
About a year. Okay. And how's your experience been with that?
Honestly, unlike no other, I was with a cloud-based brokerage prior to coming to Avenue, and I felt like I didn't have support, I didn't have mentorship. Those are all things that completely changed once I joined. I feel like every single one of the brokers has pushed me, encouraged me, and honestly played a role in like my development as an agent.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, these have been made a huge leap, right? Even the cold call, right? Like now you're doing a lot of cold calls. Which shout out to Amber for all the coaching and all that. I remember at first you had a little bit of a learning.
I had a
curve, right?
total no.
Tell us about
Not even a learning curve, more of like an aversion.
Really,
I told Andrew that I refused and that I was not going to cold call. I told him I am not a cold caller. And he looked at me, I will never forget these words. He looked at me in the face and he said, bueno, no vas a hacer plata entonces. Because it's true, like...
You're leaving money on the table.
I was leaving money on the table. I didn't... And also, one thing I realized when I started calling is that it built my confidence. It allowed me to develop like my sales skills, the way that I like pitch, the way that I present myself.
Thickens your skin. There's like a carryover to every aspect of it.
Yeah, it's not just calling or making money.
And the thing is, like, the biggest issue in real estate is typically what leads, right? So if you're stagnant, if you're not getting leads, if you're not getting clients, this is one way to kind of like push through all that and find them, like by force, which is reaching out to them on the phone. You have to be crossed out, all of them, whether it's in person, on the phone, or whatever it may be. And from there, you picked up a listing, right? And the cold calls that you now have on the phone.
I did. So I actually picked up a listing in the Redlands for a little over $1 million, my first $1 million listing. And for me, my biggest objection and I guess fear has always been my age, 21 years old. So that's something that I felt really played a role in I guess being an obstacle.
Yeah.
And me trying to obtain clients and listings.
And experience.
Lack of experience.
Yeah.
And you're obviously young, so it's lack of confidence as well.
Yeah.
But being able to develop my skills as a cold caller and then obtaining my first $1 million listing and then 7 days later going under contract, that's to me. Yeah.
And in this market, right? That's an insane market.
Yeah.
Why do you think that particular listing went under contract as fast as it did? Was it the price point? Was it a good price point?
I think because of two things. First of all, not for anything, but I really did position it and market it properly. Okay. I think the way that I listed it in MLS based on its previous listing, I did a lot of research before I called. Well, I think I did begin to tell you the story of how I got that listing. Yeah. So I called the seller. She told me no. I got off the phone with her. I remember I was in my bed when I called her. I sat in my room for 5 minutes. And I was like thinking. I was like, I'm going to call her back. I want to say something. What do I say? How am I going to? I was determined. I really liked the property and I wanted the listing. And no one me iba a quitar el pensamiento que I was going to get the list. So I called her back and I was like, hey, Annabelle, how are you? Look, I know we just spoke. I know you just told me no. And then I went into my
right back.
Right.
You made the call and
then 5 minutes later.
That's
5 minutes
a stretch.
No one said I wanted it.
You wanted it.
I wanted it.
And I can attest because I actually heard a conversation they had last week. She was already under contract, so you would think that the seller's relaxed, having a good time.
No.
The lady is tough, which, by the way, this is part of our job. Like, we deal with this, and this is why we're professionals, right? Because we have to know how to deal with it. But Isa's patience was crazy that night. I remember it was here. We were working, like, it was 6 or 7 o'clock at night. I was at my desk doing some work, and I just hear the lady just going at Isa. And he says, I understand.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I completely understand. What can I do to remedy the situation?
Were you always like that, Isa? Like prior, let's say, like patient with people?
Oh, not at all.
No, right? Like
I used to talk back. I used to be very impulsive. I used to be like, I would never say, I'm you, but I would get to the point I wanted to come. I go fly a kite. I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with this. But being in real estate, especially for so long, and learning how to roll objections, I guess you could say, being told no so many times, has allowed me to be more patient with people.
Yeah.
And also, I have to remember, and this is something that like situations taught me. I'm dealing with families of divorce. I'm dealing with people that are going through a hard time,
You
death,
never
loss.
know.
You never know what they're going through. Everyone has their own motivation behind selling, and everyone is just trying to live their life day to day. You know, like everyone has their own problems. So if I can be a light and kind of just a positive influence.
Value, exactly. That's when you start seeing that there's a flow of clients, they start reaching out. I remember my issue, and this is also a common realtor issue at the beginning. Same thing. I will talk about, right? And sometimes the sellers will be very stubborn with the price, and I will get bothered with that. But you can't have an ego.
You can't have an ego at all.
That's like huge. You have to like lower everything, like you said. Understand that people are going through situations and be open. At the end of the day, we're almost like their therapists in many ways. They kind of come to us to sell these properties that are high value. They have an emotional attachment to them as well.
And everyone, now that you say that, that's funny. Everybody knows thinks that their property is worth $1,000, $1,000,000. Why? Because it's their property. I actually called, I cold called someone today. I hadn't told, so I was a broker. Okay. Imagine this. Imagine I'm on the phone with somebody. She tells me, "Oh, because I used to be a broker." I treated her like if it was any other client. I pitched to her. I even got her email. I sent her what's it called? A report. Yeah, my credentials were like a full page listing presentation through email. So there were all the comps were at, and like it's nothing. And I remember her telling me no because of the fact that I used to be a broker, like there's nothing that you can't tell me
that I
don't already know.
Right.
Well, believe it or not, I think that just my approach and the way that I was respectful, the way that I was patient, that I heard her concerns, and also how when she told me, "Oh, like not for anything, but my properties with all of this," and I know that everybody says that, but I was like, you know what, everybody does say that, but you have a right to feel that way because it's your property. That statement, I know, made all the difference in the conversation.
How did that go? Did you guys send something up?
Well, she sent me her email.
Okay.
I was able to send her the listing presentation, and yeah, in a couple of days I'm gonna follow up.
So just so you guys know, and this is something that you realize there's opportunity in everything. Prior to one of the one that we did in the Redlands with Andrew, with the wife was agent as well.
Wait. Not the farm one.
The farm
one. Yes,
the wife was an agent.
Yes,
so whenever I would see in one of these expires that he was an owner agent, I wouldn't touch them. Joe, one of my agents, he would call them and always try to get the listing as well. And I realized it's true. Like you can always collaborate. You can always bring like a fresh set of ideas, a different perspective, and you can both win in the transaction. That's an opportunity as well.
It is an opportunity, but it's definitely a double-edged sword, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know why. Because obviously, if your ego is to the point where you're like, "Oh no, I can sell this thing." I mean, because the ones that usually are like that have their license, they're inactive realtors,
right.
And they'll tell you when you call them, "Oh, I have my license legally, but I'm not active."
I don't really work with this. Exactly.
I don't really do it. Exactly. So it's like, hold on a second. So you're not open to collaborating, you're not open to working with another agent, but at the same time, you just went through an experience where your property didn't sell.
Exactly.
So for me, it's kind of like the psychology behind the personality. If that's the kind of character that I'm dealing with, I'd rather not deal with it.
Yeah, it's more difficult, and also delivery. I think is a big important thing. We talked about right, like I can sell it better than yours than you. It's not like that either. It's maybe giving like, listen, this is the first set of ideas.
Yeah.
Let's collaborate. Let's kind of like pick each other's brains and let's see what we can make happen.
And I love that wording too.
That's how. Are you calling every day now, or
3 to 4 times a week? I'm not gonna say Monday through Friday.
What time early? Like early is where you see the results.
Between 8 and 10:30 a.m. Honestly, before 10 a.m. Anytime before 10 a.m. is perfect.
Typically, they're not like at work. The owners and stuff.
So what I did for the past month and a half is that I've been tracking, like I said, almost every single day how many calls I'm actually making. Because you need to record. If you're not recording your stuff, you're not keeping yourself accountable. So when I started tracking my progress, that's what really made the difference. And I saw that a lot more people responded between the hours of 8 and 10 than any time after 10 a.m. After 10 a.m., I'm not going to say it's a loss because nothing you do is a loss. Right. But you're not going to be as
you got less receptiveness. How many calls are you kind of on average a day or week? What are you kind of thinking right now? 20 calls? 50 a day?
Yeah. When I'm doing 3 to 4 times a week.
Because you gotta imagine, right? I see me 40, 50 calls. Maybe 70% of them don't answer. 60% of them don't answer. Exactly. So it's a volume game for sure. And I agree with Lisa. I've also seen a lot of carryover. So my confidence is I started cold calling in every transaction, not just the cold calling aspect, just with regular agents has gone to the roof because when you can deal with that rejection of that nervousness of knowing that the person on the other line is telling you, hey, I'm not interested, you can deal with it.
Yeah, it's true. It really does.
100%. And everybody has that same fear, like, I'm not calling them. We were talking today. I got Masi to call today. She had the she was making calls today. Yeah, she had that mentality. She like when she started, and Masi very polite, very nice. She was like, "I'm not calling. It's not my strong point."
She's so sweet.
She's super sweet. So, but I think that everybody can bring value. Like everybody can get value from the calls. It's gonna take a little bit more from some people than others. Like some people are more naturals, you know. But with time and with practice, with making calls, that's what. And you when they hang up on you, or when they send you to hell, it's just next.
Yeah.
You can't dwell too much on that hill.
When I learned that I was like ready to start doing this for real is when I remember I did a TikTok about it. I was at the beach and I was cold calling. I kind of like not took the week off, but I was with my family. I was basically like on vacation, and I remember telling my grandmother, you know what, I'm gonna go really early because we had rented on the beach, super nice. I could walk to the beach, and I was like, I'm gonna go really early between 8 and like just 9 a.m. for like an hour, and I'm gonna cold call. I had never, no, I did do that. Do you remember? Yeah. So we were on the sands, and I was like, okay, I really want I want to try this. It's a relaxing environment. And I remember one guy like told me, hasta el mar que iba a morir. No, like it was bad. It was really bad. And I remember telling him, bueno, sir, this is not, but I hope your day gets better. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Yeah. Y yo colgué and I started laughing. That's when I realized that I was right. When I started laughing, because I'm like, ay, mira que estúpido.
Next.
On to the
On to the next thing. You can't dwell too much on that. And then that carry over again on any deal. A deal falls through, you can't dwell too much on that deal.
Yeah.
You have to go to the next one because otherwise, in this real estate game, you will be depressed.
Yeah.
Because it's like a roller coaster.
Well,
tell me your thing.
I love that you mentioned that. I remember when I first started realizing, like, feeling the ups and downs, and I called Andres Sanchez, one of our partners. Yeah. And I know you know that, but the audience.
We just did a podcast. So yes.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I called Andres, and I was like, Andres, you don't understand. I thought that nobody else had gone through this. I thought I was the only one experiencing this. So I remember telling him, I don't think real estate is for me because how is it that I lose some deals and then some deals go through and then I feel like I'm on top of the world, but then I'm down to the floor. I'm like, I can't live like this. And he starts laughing. And he goes, Ethan, buddy, welcome to the world. That's real estate. And that's when I was like, oh, okay.
One day they set 3 offers. That same week, 2 of those fall.
Yeah.
One day you get...
At least it's appointment.
Yeah, exactly. Then they call you and tell you, no, never mind, I can't make the appointment. It's literally a roller coaster. So if you don't have that emotional intelligence, that's what this builds to, a lot of emotional intelligence as well. You know, outside of the cold calls, how are you getting your leads? Are you doing like marketing? I know you're doing through Instagram and all that, but how do you see that a lot of your clients are coming outside of the cold calls?
So, damn, you're making me expose my secret.
Don't say all of it.
No, but I will. So, believe it or not, Facebook Marketplace. It's totally underrated. And that is how I closed my last, I don't know how many rentals. I have gotten so many rentals from Facebook Marketplace. Honestly, like some people have an aversion to rentals. Why? Because they want to focus on the bigger sales. Right. But as a real estate agent in 2026 and in this economy, this generation, you need something to stay afloat. Yes, you can. I'm still cold calling. Sure. I'm still working Zillow leads with buyers, but at the same time, who's to say that I can't go show renters? I can still work with renters.
You're practicing. You're getting familiar with contracts. You're talking to people. It's all a matter of practicing.
And those renters today are gonna be buyers at the end of mañana. So I'm not thinking, and I think that goes for anything that I do. Like personally, that's how I try to carry myself. The actions I take today are not for tomorrow, they're for next year.
100%.
Like they're for
the long term. You're thinking about your vision going forward, not just an immediate gratification right away. Yeah, 100%. Facebook Marketplace, I've heard like mixed reviews about.
Yeah, definitely hit or miss.
Some people tell me that they swear by it, right, with the rentals. Other people are like, the clients that come there are not very like prepared. They're not very,
I have had the best luck.
You've had good luck there.
No, even today, the guy that I got from Facebook Marketplace 2 months ago that I forgot about.
They reached out to him, no?
They have reached out to me today.
That's the one that you showed us.
Yes, I was at a showing in Miami Lakes for one of my other listings. And the renter that I hadn't spoken to in 2 months calls me and he randomly and he's like, oh no, he texts me. And he's like, hey, by the way, I'm in Miami Lakes right now. I was hoping that you could show us a property.
Okay.
And I was like, how funny. What are the odds that I'm in Miami Lakes showing a listing? I'm always in Kendall or Doral. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Let's do it.
Almost like the stars aligned.
Like it aligned.
Awesome.
And I showed them 2 properties, and I just did the same thing.
So she's doing a contract right now?
Yeah.
That's
They're
beautiful.
submitting an offer.
That's beautiful. Isa, and just so, because I'm doing these podcasts a lot also to bring value, not just to buyers and sellers, but also to new agents, especially new agents. As a new, very young agent, when I say new, I mean full-time new, right? Because you've had your license, like a lot of people do, but it's kind of been like in passing. Exactly. Isa used to have her own business. She's always grinding, right? You used to have
I used to have my lash business. Yeah.
Exactly. Before she made this jump, as a new agent that's trying to do this all the time, that's trying to succeed, what would you recommend being your age? Because it's different, right? Than somebody who's maybe a little bit older and has to have more security. How would you approach it starting off 20, 21 years old? What would you tell new agents?
1000%. All I can tell you is find yourself the best mentors. Stick to them like it was glue. Like make them your bestie, and I promise you the rest kind of carries itself.
Showing up and finding the right person to learn from is huge. It's huge.
And that's another thing. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to find a mentor. No, I'm telling you, find a mentor, but copy them.
Yes.
You create your own style, of course. Like, I remember when Andres told me, look, Isa, come with me to the showings. I'm going to teach you how it's done.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell him when on, so now you can ask him. Months later, I told him, Andres, ven acá. I'm going to tell you something that I felt I didn't have the confidence to tell you back then. Because you wanted to show me how it's done. But I disagree with the way that you approach this, or I disagree with the way you did that. Yeah, you can ask him.
You told him that.
I told him that recently.
That's very easy. I'm not surprised.
You know,
like
I love Andres. Andres holds a special place in my heart because he's the most humble man. Like I'm humble with him. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for everything he's taught me, and he knows that anything I say, lo digo con una nobleza. I say con love. I say con kindness. It's not like, oh, I don't like. No. I was kind of like, I remember asking him, hey, was there a specific reason why you didn't do this? And he was like, damn, Lisa, you know what? Like, I didn't think of that. Or maybe I thought of that, but it's a different approach. Like, everybody is different. Every realtor is different.
Because at the very beginning, you mirror that mentor, but then we all have our different style of talking, our different personalities. So I definitely agree with that. At some point, you have to kind of put your touch. Otherwise, you're just a copy and you're going to be very generic, you know? So I agree with that. And Isa brings something very good to the table because she questions things a lot. You know, a lot of agents are just yes, and then they follow things and it's good.
I do question a lot.
The audience doesn't know in the back, but yes. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing because it does 2 things, right? It allows her to put her perspective and her way of being, but it also keeps the other person accountable. Because then, like, for example, let's say you question something that I do, it's like, hold on, maybe I haven't analyzed it as to why I do this. And I can also, me on the other side, you can also correct and fix.
And I never say it from bad. It really is coming from like an educated standpoint. And I think that's why I do for most people, for most agents. Because of the fact that I ask, and because of the fact that I want to learn. A lot of these agents won't ask, and if they do ask, it's because they're trying to test you. They're trying to tell you, oh, but my way's better. I don't think my way's better. I'm super curious. I want to please.
You want to find the perfect way.
I want to learn. I want to learn how you do it and how this person does and how that person does and why, so I can create like the ultimate superhero. Everybody combined.
Sure.
That's what I feel I have. I grabbed what I learned from you, Andres, Horacio, Alexei, every single broker, Daniela, Brianna, all of the agents.
Even the agents.
I think that the environment that you put yourself in makes such a difference. And I'm super grateful to everyone. I really, really am.
Yeah, and it's good because you can learn, speaking on that, right? Like, not just in your circle, going even outside of your circle. I remember when we did the partnership that we have with Elite now, that we took that trip up to UWM. I've learned so much in terms of like organization, which was something that I was lacking before. So it's not just, you don't have to focus on your circle. You're constantly picking up from everywhere to, like you said, to refine that perfect technique that fits for you.
Yeah.
You know? So to kind of wrap this up in 2026.
Sorry, were you yapping a lot?
No,
No.
we can go on, but we can go. But literally, I've done it to the point.
Well, when the podcast, I want to keep
We'll keep going. I've done it to the point of these that like it's fun, right? Like I enjoy it because we're really just picking each other's brains, and I've noticed that sometimes it's like 15, 20 minutes past, and you think it's fast, but we've been talking forever.
Yeah.
You know? So, what would you say, Ita, that you're kind of coming into this new year? You're doing it maybe a little bit differently, or you're trying to do it. What's your goal this year that's different from 2025? Aside from obviously, like being more full time, being more on top of it, what's the change or the shift that you're making to kind of get to that point where you're like the refined best agent that you can be?
Yeah. I love the question. I think it's an amazing question. And thank you for asking it. So honestly, I think that what really is going to make the difference in 2026 is, first of all, I'm putting myself in rooms that I never put myself in. I'm doing things that I never did. And most importantly, whether I have a confidence or not, I'm showing up anyway, like if I did.
Going outside your comfort zone.
Going 1,000% outside of your comfort zone.
Kind of circles back to the cold calls.
Yeah.
Circles back to things that we're not really like comfortable doing. But
I'm doing it anyway.
Doing it anyway.
I'm tired. I'm showing up anyway. I don't want to do it. I'm doing it anyways.
I noticed, right, like since you've been implementing this, like going outside your comfort zone, I feel like I see you. I see your production job. I see your list. You have listings. You have contracts. Today she was over here, like we've been kind of like postponing this because she's working on stuff. I'm working on stuff.